It's the gift that keeps giving.
Is this what we call giving now in this workaday world?
Well, I mean, it starts with Vaseline.
That string.
I mean, just
Oh my
the
God.
amazing titles that these.
No,
quests have.
that string is a Don Machi reference.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. You know the blue ribbon that was in part of Hestia's costume?
Oh, well,
That's called that string in Japanese.
well, that's just silly.
It is silly, but it is a thing. Maybe we've been looking at this game the wrong way. Maybe we need to start looking at every meme that it's referring to.
You know, we can do that if you really want to, but it's not going to make the game any better. It might make a
It won't
few
make
funnier jokes for us, but I mean, look at
Well,
this.
it might not
Just
even
look
do
at
that.
this. I don't even know what to say anymore. Look at everything that's going on here.
Well, you're fighting fake Pac-Man characters, and a frog in a box, which I don't know what the point of that is, and a crystal thing with blue crystals around it. I don't know.
Think about all the references being made in this game, and then you go ahead and tell me that you want to dig into that rabbit hole.
Wow, she's strong.
Yeah, I think she was in the last video. She's been working
Yeah,
out
she
pretty
was,
well.
but I forgot how ridiculously effective she is. She must have got, like, some kind of weird...
Let's get this done.
She must have got some... You must have selected something correctly with her, because she's doing 3 times as much damage as your other tank character.
And this is the first time she's been in the party, really.
Level up.
Yeah. Well, we know that's not an issue because all the characters
Yeah,
level
but
up at the same rate.
She does have that maid costume. I mean, I know it has no stats, but knowing this game, maybe
Maybe it doubles the damage she does.
Yeah, and it just doesn't tell you that anywhere in
It just
the
doesn't
game.
tell you.
So, since I'm pretty sure nothing really happens in this video other than mindless grinding, you want to talk about Dark Rose Valkyrie?
I mean, I guess we could. It would be...
Just for a moment, at least? I mean...
Sure, I mean, Dark Rose Valkyrie. Black Rose Valkyrie in Japanese. Let's see. It's a game by the same company that came out relatively recently for PS4. It's Compile Heart's homage to Sakura Wars. Is there a better way to describe it than that?
No, there's really not, because that's the reason I bought the game. When you told me
Sakura
it was
Wars.
Sakura Wars, I dropped everything I was doing and I made it mine.
Yeah, it's good. I bought it, and then you told me that there was a special edition, and I bought the special edition. I now have 2 copies of that game.
Yeah, the funny thing about it is, like, I'm pretty sure that Sega Hard Girls was Idea Factory's way of sneaking into Sega headquarters and stealing a whole bunch of their code buckets, and this was their practice
Maybe.
run
I don't know.
making
I mean,
Dark Rose Valkyrie.
I think Dark Rose Valkyrie has, while it has some similarities in overworld control, is way different of a game.
No. If you really think about it, like, it's not just the way that the characters move and the controls and the engine and everything that kind of feels the same. The thing that's really the same about... I mean, in a way, Hard Girls is like a really, really watered-down Sakura Wars. You've got a central base, and you've got events that keep popping up here and there in the central base that... You know, in this game, you don't really have to pay attention to.
The events don't really pop up in the central base, though. They happen everywhere else.
No, you get them in the... You get the character pop-ups, where they...
And thematic, no, the character pop-ups all show up pretty much outside the base. Most of them.
I
mean, you just got one.
What are the big differences? It's like, instead of running around a world map, you basically go to an area
Well,
and select an
okay,
icon.
so here's a big difference. And the big difference is that Sakura Wars had a brilliant episodic structure.
Okay, when I say watered down, I mean like the autistic child version of Sakura Wars.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
too nice
I don't want to compare this to Sakura Wars in any significant way.
Well, I know, but it's just like when I played Dark Rose Valkyrie the first time, my first thought was, oh, they basically took all the ideas that, you know, they basically took the idea of Hard Girls and made a full game out of it with an actual good battle system, and it just so happened that, you know, they had heavy influence from Sakura Wars, so there you go. I mean, really, Hard Girls.
I mean,
Hard Girls would be missing.
I'd be inclined to say that. I don't know. I mean, This is
Hard
so.
Girls has
this is,
everything bad from a Sakura War. Well, okay, that's not the right way to put it. Hard Girls takes everything from a Sakura Wars game and makes it bad. They've got the visual novel style interface with like no dialogue selections, and they're randomly interspersed throughout the game, so you're not even getting any linear stuff.
But like at some point you're just describing things that are in all JRPGs. Like Sakura Wars was special because it did specifically because it did all of these things so well.
Yes.
I mean, I could make the same argument about, Final Fantasy, right? It has a bunch of cutscenes, and there's a battle system, and there's characters.
Because you don't have a central base that you keep returning to in Final Fantasy. You don't have character events that you're dealing with in that close proximity. I'm just.
Yeah, you do. There are character events in the more recent Final Fantasies.
I mean, like within, maybe Suikoden would be a better example, like because you've got a central base there and you've got the character interactions there. But
yeah,
really, all I'm saying is that like if you look at it, if you stand back and look at like the blob of Dark Rose and the blob of Hard Girls, you've got the library and you've got the central base and you've got characters to keep having conversations.
But like, there's more things to do in the central base, and the central base makes sense.
Yeah, no, Dark Rose Valkyrie is an actual game. This isn't a game. This is like the Alien Covenant version of a video game. It's just not. It's not even a game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to compare them. That's just my gut feeling is that they don't deserve to be compared at all. Like, this is a completely separate JRPG thing, and it has nothing to do with Sakura Wars or Dark Rose Valkyrie, aside from the same company producing them.
I guess the point I'm trying to get across is that there are other games that do things that this game wanted to do and failed at each and every turn.
Yeah, well, that's also true.
But the code bucket thing stands. I really think that they were just like, yeah, let's get in with Sega and let's use some of this code to make this game. And hey, you know what? We should probably just make a Sakura Wars game since they're never going to do it again.
But okay, the people that would make this game would never make a Sakura Wars game. It's a different group of people. Like Dark Rose Valkyrie has some of the people that worked on the recent Tales games as staff. That is not present here at all. Like, no, this is
the
game that we're watching right now.
We're not necessarily the same people.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, man.
I mean, because it does kind of feel a lot like there was like Idea Factory does seem to piecemeal their code together for a lot of things, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like when it's done poorly, it really stands out a bit like this.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I'm making a very broad comparison, I know that, but I think the comparison is there. Nevertheless, nobody that hasn't played Dark Rose knows what we're talking about. Yeah, I was tempted not to.
Well, they should know. They should know it because it's available on PS4 and is excellent.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just. All right, let's look at it this way. So like, we're doing Idea Factory no real good service the way we talk about this game. So at the very least, we can say here's an Idea Factory game that you should be buying.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Dark Rose Valkyrie is that game.
I mean, the thing about the Neptune series is that there's like 500 of them at this point.
And it's all fan service.
Well, yeah, I mean, the entire concept of Sega Hard Girls is a fan service concept.
I guess.
I mean, they're literally personifying video game consoles from your youth. Like, that's exactly what fan service is.
She's the best character in the party now. I don't even know how that happened.
She is. Well, it's because this game is entirely reliant upon you constantly using melee attacks, and her melee attack is 3 times better than every other character. So yes, naturally.
I don't think I will ever care about this game enough to get used to the controls.
I don't know. I mean, like I've mentioned before, part of it seems to me like, I don't know, I feel like if I got into the right mood, I might be able to enjoy this game. Maybe.
Well,
a little bit.
Okay, so it's it's worlds better than sitting down on a cell phone and playing one of them mindless,
Sure.
you know, casual puzzle games, or you know, just one of them things where they're meant to be 5 minutes of your time, but people will sit and play them for hours because they've never seen a real video game in their life.
Yeah.
Nowhere to hide.
And there's a little bit of satisfaction in the combat. You know, when you actually get a battle where you have to think for a minute about what to do, like
Yeah.
you know, whether you should just attack or you know stand back and. What the heck does green Noah mean? I don't even know what that means. There's probably a joke
It's
in
a
that
skill.
too.
Level up. I'm going to level up.
There might be.
I mean, the biggest problem with Sega Hard Girls, apart from the horrible balance that we may or may not have ever mentioned before, the biggest problem is just that it leaves you wanting...
Hey, it's a healing skill!
Oh, it is.
It is a healing skill. It's healing and status effects. That's amazing.
And IF gets it for some reason.
Well, because she gets the other one that doubles your hit points. They wouldn't
No,
want you to have
no,
multiple
that's
characters.
Segami gets that one.
Is it? Oh, my mistake.
Battle starting. Stay alert. Anytime.
There's like no consistency in what these characters are supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah. This way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're 38
Well, like,
levels in, let's go ahead and give IF a healing skill, but...
So that's the thing. That's the thing, right? So this game is a mishmash of a bunch of ideas, and all of them are poorly executed.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was
Dark
gonna
Rose
say before
Valkyrie
the
also
Noah thing
has
interrupted.
a very large number of ideas put into it, but they're all executed well. Like Sakura War, and Sakura Wars has a bunch of different ideas in it, and they're all executed masterfully. If you're listening to this and you're not convinced yet, you should really try playing a Sakura Wars game.
Well, I can, I mean, if you were to actually play it, you might feel this way too. Like, one of the most annoying things about this game is that it feels like there's a good concept there, and
it's just really poorly done.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The execution is terrible. Like it leaves you wanting more than what it's offering, and
yeah,
well,
it's like what it offers gives you a taste of something that you want, but then it like makes that taste bitter as well.
Yeah, I mean, if the battle system had just been a little better, like if the skills had been distributed in a better way, this game would have been plenty of fun for me to like. I wouldn't have had that much to complain about.
Yeah,
You know, the dialogue might not have been all that great.
The dialogues are a little bit
Fan servicey.
No, they're not fan servicey. They're just
Trite.
trite and not very well written. But I kind of wonder to a certain degree whether that's just the English translation, because it feels like they were kind of running second string on the English translation for these.
It could be. I could.
I mean, like, we might find out that if you like listen to the Japanese version, that it's like a completely different story. Like Ghost Stories, only not
I
done
don't
well.
think that's the case. There's
Probably not.
because there's a lot of things that are worded in such a weird way in the dialogue that you're sure it was just not a good translation.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I can handle this. What should I do? This is nothing.
I mean, you know what I mean, right? You've translated
Yeah,
enough
I know what you
Japanese wording.
Yes.
It's like, oh, they probably said this, and that just didn't come out right.
Oh no, I see that all the time. Whenever I... That's almost constant, yes. I see someone write something, I'm like, oh, they translated this phrase not very well.
Yeah, sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes it's a bad thing. In this game's case,
Yeah.
probably a bad thing. But like,
Usually bad.
Like, there's times where it's a really good thing. Like, what's a good... Okay, do you remember the episode of Gabriel Dropout, where, Raphael and, what's the demon girl's name?
Not Satania.
Vine.
Oh, a vignette.
Yeah, because they kept calling her Vine. I was trying to remember what the full name was. Vinaigrette. So Vinaigrette, they're sitting at that cafe, and she's talking about the washing her clothes in the washing machine, and Raphael says that she left her clothes in there, and they really, really smelled horrible, and but they did like a better translation for the English-speaking audience, where they took the idea that she's an angel from heaven, and had her say that it stinks to high heaven instead of because they said
well,
like
that's the way that you translate things well, is you make them idiomatic. But but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cases where like you see something written in a certain way and you're like, oh, this person saw this phrase in Japanese and only knew one way to translate it.
Yeah.
And didn't exactly mesh like part A and part B together properly.
And that can be
hard to
fun
do
sometimes because it can add flavor. You know.
Yeah, it can.
But like, I don't know. In some games, there's times where it's just like I mean, there's those games where you know they didn't even try. Like they had to have known what they were writing was complete garbage, and they just left it there anyway because they couldn't figure out the real translation or something.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is IF. I have a spoon that is a dog. What? Although in this game, you might actually have to take that literally.
I mean, there might be a spoon that has a dog.
And it's like a running joke that you find out about at the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that like one of the characters gets turned into the dog with the spoon, and then they make jokes about being purple or something.
You know, that's how this game should end. It should just end on a big screenshot of everyone from the office giving you a thumbs up and saying, "This game sucks. Go play Dark Rose Valkyrie."
What should I do? Eat this!
Oh, it's fever time.
I should have gotten it for this one ghost.
It'd be such a waste.
The hours of waste that is this game.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess I gotta jump up these stairs. I mean, why would you actually let her walk up them?
If IF is not capable of walking upstairs, it's her one weakness.
Well, she's got a broken hip. It's jump or nothing. I don't know if that's good or... That's probably why she's got a broken hip, actually.
Well, yeah, the jumping enables her to move without damaging her cast.
I'm copying my sister.
Yeah, it's... like, you know, she goes to the mall or something, and you know, there's just... They come to a staircase, and they're all walking up, and he's like, are you coming, IF? And she just looks up and hurls herself at the staircase.
No. She bunny hops up, and she says jump every time she jumps. And it's like 17 stories. It's like that part of Final Fantasy VII where you have to climb 50 flights of stairs. And just like jump for like an hour and a half.
Then they fight.
She gets to the top of the stairs, and all the other characters just shot themselves.
No, she gets to the top of the stairs, and there's a boss, and she just cracks its skull in half with her thighs.
No, she does like that Cammy thing where she jumps on his back and like twists his neck.
Yeah, just then.
That is a garbage surprise attack. See, even that's poorly implemented in this game.
Yeah, they got the same thing in Dark Rose Valkyrie, and
but they do it better, and they explain it better.
Yeah, they actually tell you that if you miss, there's a delay that
causes you to get
you can be surprised.
Hit. And that actually, the interesting thing about Dark Rose Valkyrie in that sense is that, so there are 3 different types of enemies in the overworld. There's a type that has hearing, there's a type that has sight, and there's a type that has both.
This is gonna be a breeze.
And so as you play the game, you start trying to remember which enemies you have to walk slowly to catch up on, which enemies you have to sneak up on from behind, and which enemies you have to do both.
I'm copying my sister. Finally!
Like, that's so well done. Like, that's a really good idea. Making certain enemies use sight, and some of them use sound, and some of them use both. It really keeps you, like... Because you can forget which one this particular enemy is and guess wrong. And you get caught.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I'm having fun with it so far. I'm not too far into it. I did the first couple battles, but
yeah.
Yeah, that is one difference that it has on Sakura Wars. You jump back and forth between the base and the battles in the overworld a lot more. Like
Sakura
in
Wars
most of the
was
Sakura
always
Wars,
like a turn-based strategy.
Yeah, but wasn't it like, except for like the 4th game, wasn't it all chapter-based where it was like you had to read a chapter and then there would be a major battle and a boss and then another chapter?
Yes, but that kind of architecture was design was required by the fact that it was a turn-based strategy game.
This is gonna be a breeze anytime.
Right? Like the cool thing about Sakura Wars is that it was kind of set up like a week. It kind of had some of the elements of like a weekly kids show, in the sense that like this week we fight this villain, and this week we fight this villain, and this week we fight this villain, and every episode something interesting happens with one or more of the characters.
Welcome to the end. Yeah.
So because Dark Rose Valkyrie is much more of a kind of normal style RPG, they break that up a little bit, but they still have episodes. They're just not as clear cut. And that's something that game really should have done. Is it should have done episode endings and openings like Sakura Wars did, because those were so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
and they gave you
they gave that.
They gave you a really good opportunity to for the characters, voice actresses, and voice actors to kind of strut their stuff a little bit.
Welcome to the end. What should I do?
Oh, you know what I found out the other day?
What's that?
They did a remake of Sakura Wars 1 on PS2 that has all of the systems from Sakura Wars 5 in it.
Level up.
You're
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
yeah,
Maybe 2 copies.
because that's what you do.
I have multiple copies of all the Sakura Wars games now. Some of them are just on Dreamcast, some of them are just on Saturn, some of them are both.
There's very few things that are worth that. Sakura Wars is one of them.
Oh yeah, totally.
Even Fire Emblem. I only need 1 copy of a Fire Emblem game, and
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think that if they threw a remake of the first GBA Fire Emblem out somewhere, I think I would pick up another copy of that.
well, remakes don't necessarily count as the same game.
Well, no, they do.
The same game on multiple systems is.
Well, I mean, I don't think I think I own 2 copies of Sakura Wars 2 on Saturn. I think that the reason I have 2 is because I forgot that I had... No, wait, I have 3 copies of it. Because I bought it, and then I bought the special edition, and then I forgot that I had the special edition and bought another one.
I've got 2 copies of the first one for the same reason.
Baseball.
I bought the original, and it was just in its case. And then a few weeks later, I came across the special edition that had the mouse and the mouse pad. And, things that I will never use.
Short answer: thank God for Retro Taku.
Oh yeah. So anyone living in Michigan, in the United States,
in the Detroit area,
on the continent of North America, in the Detroit
they know
area.
where America is. Yeah, Detroit, Michigan. In the U.S. There's a place called Retro Taku, and before me and you cleaned them out, they had a lot of really good import games.
I'm pretty sure I cleaned them out of every really not well-known Saturn game that you possibly could.
I bought everything I could get my hands on and afford. I spent I would just I remember that I would go in there and I would just start pulling games off the shelf and stacking them in a pile next to me, and the guy would be looking at me funny. I'd be like, "No, it's all right. I'm gonna buy all of these."
The first 15 times I went there, I must have spent at least $80 to $150 every time, and I ended up with what one of our friends calls the strangest collection of video games he has ever seen. And I have yet to meet my equal in that. like you pretty much have to be running a specialty store to have more of a weird collection of things that nobody's ever heard of than what I've got.
Well, I mean, we bought the stuff that they had that was not sport games, that were Japanese imports, so that kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah.
I mean, by definition, the games that we would have bought there are games that never came out here in the U.S., so...
So many Saturn visual novels.
Oh, yeah. Like that dungeon crawler game, the,
Dragon Silk, was it?
Dragon Silk, yeah. Dragon Silk. That game's a lot of fun.
That game is really fun. How far have you made it in that? Do you actually have a copy?
I finished I have a copy. I finished the first half of the first dungeon, I think.
Yeah, I think I finished the first dungeon. I think.
Yeah. But it's a really good dungeon crawler. Like, it has
weird.
diagonal motion and jumping and all kinds of good stuff.
Jumping in a wizardry-like game. definitely. I don't think there's any other game that's ever done that.
Well, it's been done. Might and Magic did jumping sometime. It had a spell called Jump, which let you. I mean, because the thing about most of those games is that each space is like supposed to be like a 10-foot by 10-foot square.
Yeah.
And so, like, jumping doesn't make a whole lot of sense in that context.
Yeah, no,
But they made it work for Dragon Silk.
it worked good.
The opening to Dragon Silk is hilarious too.
Yes, it is. No, the game's got animated sequences in it, like old school, early 90s
Yeah,
animation.
old school, early 90s animation stuff.
And so it's got that nice, almost a PC 98 aesthetic to it when you're playing the game.
Yeah.
It's slightly updated because it's running on the Saturn and, trying to be a good 3D game on the Saturn. The
Yes.
graphics are a bit, bulgy looking around the edges. They got that extra fluff to them, but it looks good. It's got a nice cartoon look to it. And it's definitely a game that I would recommend to people over, I don't know, Sega Hard Girls or...
Yeah, definitely better than Sega Hard Girls.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, that's not a high bar to set, so I will...
It is a low bar.
I'll go ahead and say it's just a really good game. If you get a chance to play it and you like those kind of games, it's one of the better ones I've played.
The other thing that was fun was when I finally got my Japanese PS2, and then I went there and I was like, I haven't bought any PlayStation games for you guys before. No longer. I bought like 7 or 8 PlayStation games, and PS2 games too.
Yeah, I got a good handful of PlayStation games. Most of it was weird. It was almost like I had some kind of special power when I would go. Anytime I would go to Retro Taku, like Sean would usually go with me, and every time I picked up a game and walked out of that store with it, he would just be like, "So, is that a visual novel?" And I'd say, "I don't know," and he'd go, "But it probably is, right?" Yeah.
And you'd say yes.
I would just pick up games that based on their cover, and I would buy them. I wouldn't even,
I would just pick up games based on the fact that they're imports and buy them.
It's like I would look at the cover and I would say, okay, I'm going to buy this. Wouldn't learn anything about the game. I'd walk out with 10 games, and every single one of them ended up being a visual novel.
What should I do?
Yeah. Or a Mahjong game.
Yeah, well, yeah, but those were... I think I ended up picking up like 4 of those out of, the 300 games I bought or so? Probably more.
Something like that.
Nowhere to hide. Victory.
Even the Famicom games, like most of the ones I got ended up being adventure games, like the baseball murder mystery game.
Yeah, that game was pretty cool.
I really got to go through the rest of it one day.
You know what we should take a look at sometime is there's a game for the NES called Sweet Home. You ever hear of it?
Yes.
It's like it was like the precursor to Resident Evil is the way that a lot of people describe it.
I think I've actually played it. You had to.
It's actually. Go ahead.
You had to select different characters to move around inside a mansion and.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, me and Brandon were playing that one day.
Yeah, Brent ran some of that. Yeah, it's a really good game. We should check that out at some point. Because I actually thought it was gonna not be very good, and then I started playing it, and it actually really surprised me. Like, I should probably pick up a copy of that.
It's probably the best 8-bit horror game that I have played.
Yeah. It has some really interesting gameplay, too, like in the sense that there's a lot of different stuff going on, and you have to use the right items and have the right things equipped and stuff.
Yeah, it almost felt like it should have been a Super Nintendo game.
Well,
not in terms
the
of how it
graphics and
looked,
stuff,
but in terms of, like, the
well,
thought
the complexity
that went into
of it. Yeah. Well, I mean, there were a lot of NES games that had some thought that went into them, but that's definitely one of the higher level ones.
Oh, so little fun fact, I was, I think I was checking out the PlayStation Store or something, and I came across one of the Idea Factory games. I think it was Hyper Devotion Noir.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Apparently, I thought that she was only in this game, but apparently Histoire is in other Idea Factory games.
Really?
I thought that this was like a one-off for her.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So,
I mean,
there might be more.
I have this weird,
Teach Me Histies.
I have this weird compulsion that, like, now that I've seen so much of this game, I feel like I just want to buy the whole series because I'm a monster.
Well, I would be more interested in like, even if it was Idea Factory, if it was the Sega Hard Girls, I don't think there's enough emotional investment that I could possibly have for the Neptunia world.
No, I mean the Neptunia characters are actually. The Neptunia games, while the combat is really slow, are actually pretty decent games. Like the thing that stopped me from finishing them was the really slow combat,
What should I do?
and the fact that I had a million other games that were a little bit better. But like the RPGs were pretty good.
Well, as long as you're not talking about the idle management game.
What should I do?
Well, you played that one, and you told me it was bad.
It's probably the worst way that they could have possibly done idle. Like take any other manager game where you're managing a group or a person.
Yeah.
And, you know, take everything out of it that makes it that game and attack it from a completely different angle. Like part of the gameplay to that game was rotating the camera around while the singer is singing on the stage.
Yeah, but I think that's normal.
No, but it's weird. There were like these things that you had to do while there were these very minimal things that you had to do. You got like a bonus that you could set off one time during this 5-minute song that this person singing, and you were supposed to try and find a time where it would get the crowd to cheer right, and that would be good if it wasn't just that one time that you were doing it. Because I think in a 5-minute song you're only really doing like 2 or 3 things the whole time.
Oh, really?
And it's just, it just didn't seem like really even a game. Like the entire game was before anyone went on stage. It was all like stat building. Like, you remember in like Cherry Tree High Comedy Club? Almost just like that, except it rushes at you. It just, here's one menu, pick something. Here's another menu, pick something.
This is one of those games that I wanted to try, and I think we couldn't get it to run on your PSTV or something.
Yeah, it's not PSTV compatible.
Yeah, so I had to. Maybe I could pick up a copy super cheap somewhere.
Well, I mean, do you want a copy? I don't think I'm ever going to play that game again. It was boring. It was very, very boring.
Next time I come up, I should definitely play it once. I just like to see it for myself.
Oh, and it used the back touch thing on the Vita, which.
Oh God.
But that was the thing. It was like, it wasn't in a bad way, because you know how all the characters have their transformations, all the hyperdimension characters. So I think the character that I had picked was the I think it
video odor.
I think it was Noir. Yeah. Oh yeah, that video's over. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Well, anyway, may as well finish this thought. Yeah, so you touch the back of the Vita and it like sets you into super mode. So you're playing the game and naturally your fingers like sort of wander there and you don't even realize it, and then it's like, oh wait, I didn't want to do that. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that back touch screen was just a bad idea in general, I think.
Yeah.
Because how else are you supposed to hold the console?
Well, I think the biggest problem with the back touch screen is that it ruined a lot of PSTV games.
That's also true.
Because there was that game that came out with Yomawari. Can't remember.
Oh yeah, the Firefly Diaries.
Yes. That game. Oh yeah, I've got the mouse pad right here. I should have just looked down.
Yeah.
That game uses the back touch screen to move a little cursor around in the shadow portion.
Oh, okay.
So it's PSTV compatible, but it's almost unplayable. It might be unplayable. I made it pretty far, clicking in with the sticks and switching to the back touch screen thing.
No, that's freaking close to impossible. I've tried it.
Yeah, I mean, I made it like... I must have made it 20% through the game doing it that way, and it just got harder and harder, and it's... Yeah,
Mary Skelter has some of that, and it's a pain in the butt.
Well, hopefully it's not as bad as that, because you had to do some...
It's optional.
Oh, good. Because you had to do some precise movement in Firefly.
No. There's nothing precise, and it's all optional. And, it's fine. But it took... And it's not that crazy hard. Like, I was able to do it with a couple of tries, but, it took... The problem that I have with the PSTV using those touchscreen things is that... Like, you're moving the sticks around, and you'll accidentally push the sticks in enough. Yeah. Just moving them, and it flips things around, and everything gets confusing.
Yeah, I had to turn that off.
Yeah.
Fortunately, very few games made use of the... I actually had completely forgotten about it for like years, and then I was like, oh yeah, there's a back touchscreen. I was like, what?
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we should probably cut this.
Yeah, I mean, unless people want to pretend that
the video is still
yeah.
going. No, it's not. Stop.
IF is just jumping around and